I guess this is a special kind of vlog because it's about something that comes up every now and again, but isn't usually something that I want to talk extensively about. But with Otakon finally coming back, it's reared its ugly head again, and a recent post in a group that I'm involved with raised the specter yet again of how much people miss Baltimore as the venue for Otakon. And I put together a lot more thoughts than I normally do about the subject. It's kind of just been bits and pieces over years that have finally bunched up together and kind of rolled out that I wanted to share with you. Because I don't think that people really miss Otakon in Baltimore. I think what people miss is their mental picture of Otakon in Baltimore in the late 2000s. And the kind of familiarity that comes with being in a place for a decade or more. But people are really rose-tinting the 2010s and forgetting not only the skyrocketing costs in Inner Harbor, but also how truly bad the con center was by the time we finally got out of there. They're forgetting lines to get into a line, of rooms being so packed that anyone with a large costume or a wheelchair was stuck for minutes at a time. Or the barely functioning infrastructure. Escalators never work. Nothing has improved since then. By the time Otakon moved, places like Edo Sushi had already closed, and the fountains that everyone loves to recall about photo shooting at were already scheduled for demolition. They're gone. I think people don't like DC, partly because they can't mentally measure that it's farther to walk to the Hard Rock Cafe past a pollution-riddled waterline of the bay than it is to walk one block from the DC Convention Center to a food selection that is better than Baltimore ever offered us. They want to think about the aquarium that they've probably been to 5 times in a row and not experience something new like the National Museum of Women in the Arts, the Smithsonian American Art Museum, or the National Building Museum. All of these things are roughly the same distance by foot as the aquarium is from the BC. They want to complain that there's nowhere to take photos, even though the massive hallways and giant glass panes and interesting artwork and all sorts of fun backdrops that you could use in the convention center are just past the lobby. The con center is huge. Okay, there's so many things you can do. And if it doesn't work indoors, step outside. You have the Apple Carnegie Library across the street. You have parks all over the place in easy walking distance. You have Chinatown, Samuel Gompers, 10th Street, Burke. You even have the fountain in the park at City Center. Walk. If photo spots really matter to you so much that none of those work for you, you can get on a train or bus and within half an hour you can be down to the National Mall and all the other green spaces that are adjacent to it for some truly spectacular photo opportunities. You're just missing out on it. People aren't exploring. Cosplay coordination in the BCC was a nightmare. The Skyway bridge between the two heads of the convention center was a security nightmare. The Sky Bridge to the Hilton had a choke point that was downright kinky. Otakon stopped having a future in Baltimore. That's why we had over 5 years of warning that this move was going to happen. Otakon finally got back into the black just 2 years ago, like a year before COVID happened. And that's after a nearly uninterrupted chain of red year after red year after red year. Could Otakon feasibly fit back in the BCC now? Sadly, we probably could. But we need to stop and think not only about the cost to go back to Baltimore, but also the continually deteriorating condition of the trash heap that Baltimore continued to offer us repeatedly after promising something would change. It didn't. It still hasn't. Nothing has changed here. You want Otakon to go back to Baltimore? Then become a necromancer. We need to revive that dead billionaire who had that like $1.5 billion revival and investment plan for the Inner Harbor before he died. Pining for Baltimore and contributing to this egging on of never DC ex-Otakon attendees is at the expense of the general health of the con. And with every relevant data point pointing us to DC as the choice of the future, it's some high-grade nonsense, guys. That's my thoughts on the issue. Hope to see you guys in DC. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.